What is STEEZ? Urban Dictionary defines STEEZ as plain old style with ease. The word STEEZ originated from 1980s hip-hop culture and is still commonly used today. Somewhere along the line, action sports culture adopted the term to describe the most eye-boggling riding in their respective sports. But STEEZ is much more than just technical skill. It's kind of hard to explain. It's you know it when you see it kind of thing. In this video, I'm going to deep dive into what makes something steezy and give examples using the framework of my sport, mountain biking. In mountain biking and in any action sport, it really boils down to three things: the clothes, the apparatus such as the bike, board, etc., and most important of all, the riding. First, let's talk briefly about clothes. Just like in any culture, mountain bikers wear clothes to make a statement about what mountain biking means to them. And so they're not naked. When we think of traditional mountain biking attire, many things may come to mind. A lot of mountain bike kit is race inspired, function focused, and form fitting. Functionality focused attire clashes with the concept of STEEZ because STEEZ has nothing to do with functionality. STEEZ isn't about taking the fastest route from A to B, it's about doing it with style. More casual fitting, comfortable clothing allows the rider to feel free and loose on the bike. Style is ultimately up to the individual, so there are no wrong choices here. Clothing is one small part of the culture, but it's certainly worth mentioning. Much like the clothes we wear, our bikes are an extension of us, so they have to fit the task at hand. This is probably going to be controversial, but I'm going to describe a bike best fit for steezy riding. For starters, a small frame is easier to control. It seems like the bike industry is pushing larger and longer frames that are built to be stable and plow through terrain. While a larger frame might be better for racing, a smaller frame makes it easier for riders to dance their bike through terrain with style and ease. In addition to smaller frames, smaller wheels play a similar role by making the bike easier to control on the ground and in the air. The smaller wheels provide a more precise contact point with the ground. This allows the rider to maneuver the bike more deliberately. Trying to be steezy with big wheels is like trying to dance in boots. Next, having a low standover height where the seat is out of the way gives the bike space to move between the legs. The extra space allows the rider to feel loose and comfortable on the bike. For example, my Santa Cruz 5010 has a way lower standover height than my old stump jumper did, and that was my main reason for selling the stump jumper. I couldn't put my feet down easily, and it left me feeling like my center of gravity was way too high. I was always getting bucked by my seat, and I literally felt like I was on a horse. If the rider can stay low and keep their center of gravity balanced, they can allow the bike to absorb the terrain. This leads to the rider looking more smooth and composed. If you envision my description of a steezy mountain bike, you might realize that what I'm describing is a free ride, dirt jump, or slopestyle bike. Having one of these bikes isn't necessary for steezy riding, but I found that the closer a mountain bike is to resembling one of these bikes, the more capable of steez it becomes. We can draw inspiration from these bikes, but it ultimately comes down to what the rider feels most comfortable on. Regardless of what bike setup a rider chooses, it's up to the rider to bring the bike to life. We can buy stylish kit, spec our bike out to the nines, but in reality, it all comes down to the rider. There's no shortcuts to this. Doing a maneuver with STEEZ rarely happens on the first attempt. It's effortlessness that comes with many hours of practice. There are a lot of tricks that can be done with STEEZ on a mountain bike, but I want to talk about 3 tricks that when mastered demonstrate high levels of STEEZ. The first maneuver I want to talk about is a great example of STEEZ, and this is why. A lot of riders can do them, but only some riders can do them at a high level. A truly impressive whip seems to defy all laws of physics. It showcases an intuitive calculation of mind and bike connection needed to initiate a whip off a lip, as well as understanding the perfect degree of sideways to whip in the air. Too much side swing and you won't be able to bring the whip back and roll away. Too little and it's subpar. A steezy whip pushes the limits. A steezy whip may be one where the rider barely hangs on to it. Whips are a prime example of STEEZ because they take an extreme amount of bike control and precision. Maneuver number 2 looks easy, but it's deceptively difficult. I know a ton of riders, including myself, would do unholy things to be able to manual. Manuals are especially steezy because they're not only a trick on their own, but they allow maneuvers to be tastefully linked together. They can really spice up a boring section of trail and can be used to add some pizzazz to underwhelming obstacles. In addition to riding along on your rear wheel, the front wheel can also be used to add some finesse to a maneuver. Unfortunately, mountain bikes are limited by the size of their front wheel, which makes holding a nose manual for an extended period of time only possible by doing a stoppie. And I don't find stoppies nearly as steezy. Is it just me? I don't know. Rather, a skillfully placed nose bonk is the proper way to achieve maximum butter. Manuals are a perfect demonstration of STEEZ because they are hard to do with style, but when executed properly, they look super easy. Lastly, I have to mention bar spins because they really bring home the subtle art of STEEZ in a way that whips and manuals just can't explain. The most important aspect of bar spins to understand is that they are not a crowd-pleasing trick. Slopestyle riders make them look effortless at events like Crankworks, but they aren't memorable because they're overshadowed by much gnarlier tricks. Bar spins hit hardest when the consequences for not catching the bars are catastrophic, like when done at events like Red Bull Rampage.
Brandon Semenuk online now, coming into the canyon gap. Bar spins the canyon gap, putting that single crown fork to use.
Also, bar spins look way steezier when done on unorthodox spots and on unorthodox bikes. Man, that was actually really hard to say. The best examples of this are in videos by 50 to 1. 50 to 1 is a group that rides with street style BMX STEEZ on full-size trail bikes. The 50 to 1 guys truly embody the essence of STEEZ, so I would be remiss not to mention them in this video. My point is, when bar spins are executed at the right time and place, it gives a whole new context to the trick. It's not just the trick itself. It's the set and setting, the bike, and the parameters that make it steezy. Take these two examples of bar spins. Which one has more of an impact? STEEZ can take many forms. It can be fast and aggressive. It can be delicate and precise. It can be a perfectly stuck landing, or it can be a sketchy roll away from a trick you shouldn't have landed. It's a paradox, a perfect moment captured in the eye of the beholder. It's subtle, hard to put your finger on, but you know it when you see it. The word STEEZ gets thrown around a lot in mountain biking and in other action sports. But what does STEEZ mean to you? Let me know down in the comments. Hit the like button if you want to see more videos like this in the future. Thanks for watching.